Imprisonment can severely alter, disrupt, or even terminate mothering. Pregnancy, delivery, lactation, and parenting each require special consideration. For example, breastfeeding, despite being recommended by doctors, is problematic for prisoners who have been separated from their children. According to the Kenyan Constitution, mothers in prison are allowed to have their children accompany them until they attain the age of 4 years. Even with Kenya's law allowing grown children to visit, many mothers spend time in prison without easy access to their children. As a result, many women receive little or no regular visits from their children throughout their sentence. This conversation is very close to my heart, as it is my own lived experience with my own mother. Listening to our story, it is my hope that it spurs policy and practice implications that work towards improved outcomes for both mothers and their children in prisons across Kenya.
So it's not an easy journey when you come out of prison. You feel like time stopped, but time moved on. The kids grew up, they have their own, and they survived without you. I'm Fatia Jasho Kamwero, married to Mr. Alex Kamwero. I have 3 children. I worked in the bank for 27 years. After one Easter in 2009, I went to work and I was holding the strong room keys. And when we opened the cash, all the cash was gone. So I lost my job after that. After 2 years of going to court, I lost my job and was put in behind bars in Langata for 3 years.
My name is Leila Wanjiko Kamweru, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and I've always wanted to be known as a superhuman. I try to save everyone, and it's something I'm trying to stop, but yeah, I'm a superhuman.
My name is Amina Jasho. I am a researcher, a communications person. I am an activist, and I love storytelling. Oh, and I forgot to say this is my sister. Yeah. So, at some point in our lives, my mom was in prison. She was taken from us immediately. Treated like a mfungwa. We could not see her, we could not talk to her. We had no access to her. Immediately the judge said 5 years or whatever that is. Alichukuliwa akawekwa kwa gari. Akafungiwa. So I was like, no access, no nothing. So for me, that's when it hit me that, that my mom was going to jail and prison. I mean, not jail, prison.
I remember that day, like it's like, it's something I engraved it in my mind or something, I don't know, because I was in Form 4. You can imagine this is April, which is first term. We were going for April holidays. So I remember speaking to my mom that morning and telling her, oh, we are going to go to Mombasa for as a class. So can I go? And she was like, okay, go then. So she used to do this thing where she used to pick us up after closing school. So on that day, my dad and the guy who used to like drive our car when my mom wasn't around, they came. So I'm asking, where is Mama? Where is my mom? He's saying, usijali ako somewhere. He like it took him a long time to tell us where she is. So it took a while for us to eventually understand where she is, where she's gone.
The first night when I went was the saddest time of my life. I felt like all alone, very, very lonely. And that I asked myself, is this how when you die, that you're all alone, that you've gone to the grave and you're on your own, like this is your judgment day, that you can't fight this battle. It's for real. To me, it felt like it's the final, the straw that broke the camel's back. That's how I felt. Like this is now the end of me. How it dawned on me that how is everybody going to perceive me? And how am I going to sleep in a bed or in a room where there are like 50 of us. And who is going to come at night and strangle me? That was the worst night of my life. The worst experience where you wouldn't want anybody to go through. And the mothers, after a few days, it came as a shock to me that there were mothers with kids. And the first person I kept on thinking was of my daughter. I left her with a small baby. Suppose she was the one who was behind bars. How would she relate to this baby? You know, the water is cold, they're getting uji, you know. How would she be able to feed herself and be able to feed the baby? I just kept on thinking of my daughter who had a small baby all the time. And it really, really killed me. And I said, I pray no mother comes behind bars with a baby. Because you just want to protect that child. And are you able to protect yourself for you to protect that child? You know, that was my question is, if my daughter came here, how would she handle this? If I was the one who came behind the bars with a baby, how would I relate this? You know, I'm already scared for me. Won't you be scared for the baby as well? You know?
So my sister, my dad didn't tell us for the longest time. I think even maybe she had done like 2 months or something. That was when we actually went to see her at Langata.
When they came to see me, the first time they came to see me, it made me feel anxious. It made me feel anxious like I shouldn't be here. I should be with them. And that they've taken this time, the day, from doing important things to come here and spend time with me behind bars. That we didn't deserve to be in that situation, in that place, at that time. It made me feel very anxious and like, how are they perceiving me in that prison garb, you know? How is my granddaughter looking at me like, is my grandmother actually the criminal they say she is? You know, I didn't realize that she was too young, but I was wondering what was running in their mind at that particular time. I was very anxious.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard because I remember my niece, I think she was 2 or 3. We went and we saw my mom through the window, the glass, and my niece refused to actually even go near the place. She even started crying. So even her, she was feeling our anxiety, she was feeling the tension, because everyone was pretending to be strong. And I can imagine, okay, I'm not certain, but I feel like my sister and my dad were trying to be strong for us, because if they broke down, all of us would have broken down, or even not even want to see her. But you see, they're trying to be strong for everyone, including my mom, because now you can imagine going to see her and everyone is crying. So even her should be crying over there. So yeah, it was tough.
Very difficult.
It was tough
Because the glass is double plated and only has holes. So even like to hear each other, you have to put your face like really close to the window. And for me, the thing that I remember the most about my visits with my mom, my mom would always ask for things for other people. It was she was momming other people in the prison. So I'd go there and she'd be like, "This is my friend, Hana Viatu. Next week when you come, bring her shoes." And I'm like, do you even know if we're eating in the house? Do you even know if we are what? You know, like for her, she was, I was going to say living her best life, but it's not. But she was taking that situation the best way she knows how, which was taking charge. My mom was the breadwinner. What then happened to our family? So my dad and I just decided, let's just move the way things were moving. So between the two of us, me making no money and him not working, we had to make it work. And I remember how difficult life was, to the point that my dad would come home carrying a quarter meat in his pocket. We'd have no food, we'd have no water, we'd have no electricity, but things were moving. Like literally, and please note, I had a child. We had to have a nanny because I was working. So he would take that opportunity to like watch her. My very traditional father changed. Like gone were the things that you'd say like, mwanaume hazingia kwa jikoni. You'd be the one cooking. Like I'd come home from work, these guys would come home from school, takuta chakula hapo. We stayed almost 3-4 months bila house girl. You know, someone would come do the washing, but he would be there, literally holding us up. So yeah, I'd go to a point where we'd have no food, but we would still go and see my mom every Sunday and give her what we have.
It's a sad reality. It's really sad that the kids are away from their mother. It's not a good feeling that they had really, maybe I made the mistake of them being so dependent on me. And all the time I was worrying. I was worrying about all of them, how they are faring, how they're sleeping, how they're eating, whether they have clean clothes going to school, who's helping them with their homework. Are they eating? Are they eating well? Who's cooking for them? It is hard because when you tell them this is what I want it to be done, what I want to be done, and you're inside, it doesn't matter whether they'll do it or not. But you still want to exercise your authority, even when you're not in the house. But you know definitely they will do it or they won't do it. So it comes to your focus that they might do it or they might not do it, and that you don't exercise power anymore.
One of my instances that I would remember of my mom mumming me from prison, honestly, was one of I was just like, what is wrong with this woman? Like, honestly, doesn't she realize? And for me, it didn't even hit me. It's just that this is my mom. Whatever she says is law. Not thinking that she's so far away from me, I can do what I want. So I told my dad, because at that time I was feeling so stifled. I was mothering my siblings. So this is what I was doing. So it's like I just became my mother in the home. I would drop them to school, come pick them up. I would find them school fees, whatever that would be. I would, like it was a lot. It was me and my dad working together. I would make sure that there's food in the house. We would go shopping with my sister. Like I ran our household just the way I thought my mother was running it. So as long as no one is complaining that they're hungry. Also by this time, like was it a year later, I'd gotten a good job. So with that good job, I felt like I had more control of our household, and we could make more decisions that would better them. So I told my dad, I think it's time for me to move. Me and my child are going to be fine. And he was so concerned. He was like, are you sure? Like, I think you just stay home. Like, here there's support. Like, what else do you need? I was like, no, I want my independence. And then plus, where we were staying, Ngong is so far from my job. But I remember at that time, I felt like I just wanted my freedom away from these responsibilities. Honestly, I'd use the word around malingering because my mom was the one with all the responsibilities. And for me, I felt like I want that again. Why should I be momming like grown-up people? They have their father. Honestly, I don't need this. That was what I was feeling. But I didn't tell that to my dad. All I told him was like, I just want to be, it's far. I want to start finding a school closer for my daughter and all those things. I didn't say what I've just said. So he was fully in support of my plan. And he was like, if this is what you want, you're a grown-up. I will support you. Have you found a place to stay? How much money? Like those things. And we went through that with him. Going now to talk to my mother in prison. Hey, I've decided, in fact, I found a house. So every time I would bring it up, she would like be really upset. How are you? She'd be upset, and the question would be, why would you leave your siblings? You know, why would you leave them alone? You're taking care of them. Who would they be with? And I'm like, but the dad is there. No, you can't leave them alone. You have to take care of them. And I'm like, that conversation had just be like, until the day when I told her, I found a house and now I'm moving next month. Hey, what? She got so angry at me, shouted at me through the window, and left. She went back. You know, like when in movies, when you say, God, I'm done, and then you go, and you're left there. Yeah, that was me. So standing there in the window, and you're like, hakuna mtu unaona, so you have to go. And you can't go for telling her, let's have this conversation again. And you can't call her, and you can't go back tomorrow. Because even going those weekly ones was not allowed. It was, we had to do it shingo upande, you know. So that was, that to me was such a shock. And then the next week when she didn't talk to me.
So when she moved out, I had to take up the responsibility now, because now she's transferred the responsibilities to me. I was just wondering why mom? Why not anyone else? Why did she have to be the one who was taken away? Why not me even? Or why? I was wondering. So I had to be there I had to mom myself. I had to mom my brother, or maybe not even mom, let's say just give him some guidance. And also I had to be there for my dad when he wanted to talk, or just, I don't know, just find solutions for things. Because we couldn't keep calling my sister, oh, ala, hakuna sijui nini.
Which they did.
We used to, but that's when we decided we'll start eating. Let's say we used to buy githeri from the road and karanga and eat with spaghetti. Like, we discovered strange recipes. That's when we used to eat bread and mincemeat. Like, we had different recipes. We were trying to make ourselves happy through strange recipes.
I think I left like in the middle of that year, and then my mom came out in December.
I spent 2 years and came out in 2013. After 2013, I came out to find strangers in my house. They were no longer the kids I left.
We realized the way we became a unit. It was like us
Against the world.
And when she came back, she found us like that. And she feels like she's still an outsider. Because what happened is, I grew up, I moved out with my child. I'm now momming very consciously. I'm making decisions where before she would help me to make decisions because she had the financial power. She would help me to make decisions about that child. This one had finished. She's now in university. A whole university person. She didn't leave her in university, you know?
Yeah. My brother is
in Form 4.
Is in Form 4. So you can imagine, she left us as children. Now she's coming to find people who've grown up, people who've learned how to survive, people who've learned the ways of the world.
So it's dawning on you that these kids actually survived without me for 2 years. And that they have a life. Even if I died today, they'll still move on. The reintegration is real, you know, where then you have to find yourself because they survived without you. You are the one who's coming back home. How are you fitting in their life now? Without you, you were not there for 2 years. How are you fitting into their lives? They had a life. Without you for 2 years, it actually felt like we were all strangers. We felt like we were all strangers. The children resented being told what to do or what not to do. It made me feel that they can actually live without me. And it was sad to realize that I wasn't an important part in their life anymore. Maybe I took it in the wrong concept, but I realized later that they can actually live without me.
We thought when she comes back, things will be the same. But no, they were not. Like, we would start, or we would continue where we left off. But that wasn't the case. we grew up. Like everyone grew up.
I don't think we have really come back to what we were. And it's a good thing because we realize that we've all grown up and that we can all be ourselves, you know. Earlier on, we were one. Now that we realize that, yes, we are one, but everybody has their own roots and that they can move on. It took me a while, but now even me, I'm finding me. It has been a journey of being a mother. Then it shocks you to be a prisoner. Then you come back and you realize that you don't have to be a mother anymore, that these are grown-ups and they have a life. And I'm glad that I'm finding me. It is now my time to find me. So I would love to travel, see the world, have that money, you know. I don't want a lot of it, but in the morning I don't have to worry, where am I getting 2-3 shillings? That I can, if I want to drink milk, I just go drink milk. But here it seems like we are in a real tight, I don't know whether it's all Kenyans, but that's how I feel in the situation I'm in now. I love cooking, it's my passion. And I opened this place with just the passion that I have. I didn't want to sit down and feel sorry. And I still do that job and still enjoy my grandchildren and enjoy my children. And I don't tell them, don't do this, don't do that anymore. I learned from that experience that they are adults, that they can make their right. Until they go very wrong is when I tell them, no. But it's a lesson I learned, that you don't have to beat your head for the mistakes they make.